Hello class, welcome to lab number 3, using Ubuntu. And the goal of this lab is to play around with the system, to kinda eliminate a little bit of the fear that comes when we're trying to learn something new. So we're just gonna have some fun, and yeah, so let's get started. So for question 1, we're gonna do some basic things. First, we're gonna take a screenshot, right? As simple as that. So let's open a terminal, like it says in the question over there. And let's run the date command. And now let's take a screenshot of this. You can simply press the print screen key on your keyboard, and that's gonna launch Flameshot. If it doesn't launch, you can do it manually by searching for the Flameshot application, and then it will pop up over here like this. But if you did lab number 2 correctly, it should pop up by just pressing the print screen key. So we're gonna highlight this, which is the output of the command, and we're gonna add some text. So we're gonna click on the T over here, and we're gonna say, this is the date, right? And let's save this. We're gonna save this as question 1.1, and we're gonna put it in our CIS 106 folder, labs, and over here we need to create a new folder. So let's click on the little icon on the corner over here for +1, and let's call this lab 3. And let's save the file right there. So we have finished with the first thing. Next, we're gonna create a shortcut for our website. And the goal here is to have an icon on the desktop that we can double click and take us to the website here. So we're gonna close the file, the terminal, and we're gonna open a text editor. So we're gonna click on this, the launcher, and then type the word text. Oops, text. And this is the application we want to launch, text editor. You're gonna copy this text from here, right? And we're gonna paste that right here. There's a couple of more things we need to do. First, you need to change the username here. That's going to be your username because this file needs to be located in your home directory, right? And how do you know your username? Well, there are a couple of ways of doing it, but one of the easiest way to do it is by simply opening a terminal. And this part over here is your username. You can also do this command, echo $user, and that's gonna print your username as well, right? That whatever appears over here is what you're gonna substitute with the word student here. Next, we are going to click on save. And we're gonna save this in our desktop folder, and we're gonna call this CIS 106.desktop. Click on save. There is one more thing we need to do. We need to download this picture. So let's click on Linux Fundamentals. I'm gonna open a new tab, and I'm gonna download this logo here, and I'm gonna click on Save As. Then I'm gonna name this period CIS 106. I already downloaded it on my computer, so a message to replace will appear over here, but in your case it won't. Now that we have completed this, we can close this tab and we can close the file, the text editor. And the last thing that we need to do is exactly what's happening in this picture over here. We need to make this launchable. So we're gonna click on Allow Launching, and voila, we have created a launcher for our website. And you can do this for any other website that you prefer. All you have to do is make sure that you change here the URL to the website in the exec command, because what it does is that it calls the Firefox program and then it opens this URL in Firefox. If you have a different web browser in your computer, you can do the same as well. Just make sure that you put the location of the actual executable, the actual bin of your web browser. Now, let's move along with the next one. Write a document. Well, this is pretty simple to do. You know, we're just gonna open LibreOffice Writer. We're gonna discard that because we don't want that. And no, I don't want to save that data. That was a different document I had opened, and we don't care about that. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure I want to discard this. And okay, sure, save it. Okay, so we're gonna write a simple document over here. I'm gonna close that. And I'm gonna say Linux, right? And I'm gonna say Linux is a kernel. Right, that's it, a simple document. If you want to write more, go ahead, write more. I'm gonna change this to a title. Perfect. And actually, why don't we put also a picture here, right? That would be nice. And we already have a picture, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on insert, image, and we're gonna click on home. And here we're gonna press Ctrl and H to enable hidden files, because our picture here is hidden. And we're gonna click on open. Let's make it a little bit bigger, right? Perfect, perfect. Now we're gonna convert this to PDF, but first I want to save it. So I'm gonna save, and I'm gonna save this in my home CIS 106 labs lab 3. I'm not gonna call this Linux. I'm gonna click on save. And now we are gonna convert this document to PDF. So we're gonna click on file, export as PDF. And in this dialog box over here, we're gonna click on export. We're gonna choose where to save it, and that's correct. I wanna put it in my Git repo, right? CIS 106, and inside lab 3. Click on save. And now we can close this document because we don't need it anymore. Next, we're gonna create a presentation. Okay, so we're gonna click over here in our launcher, and we're gonna call LibreOffice Impress, which is the LibreOffice alternative to Microsoft PowerPoint. And this is not a difficult program to use. You know, you pick a template and you start changing the template however you choose. I'm gonna put here Linux, and I'm gonna put here, hey, I am a presentation, right? And let's save it. So let's click on file, save, and we're gonna save this in home, CIS 106, labs, lab 3, and we're gonna name this Linux. Click on save. You can name it whatever you want, by the way. Okay, now we can close this, and we have successfully created a presentation. Mind you, a very simple one, but hey, we did it. Next, we're gonna install a theme in our computer, and this is actually pretty fun because we're gonna start customizing Linux to our need. So we're gonna open a new tab, and we are gonna go to this website here. See where it says this site? This is called Gnome Look, and this is an insane database of a bunch of themes and cursors and wallpapers that we can use to pimp our Linux distribution. So the first thing that I want to download is a nice theme. Like, you can look for as many themes as you like. Allow me 1 second, please. I need to pick up this call. Okay, guys, so there is a nice theme that I like. I'm gonna look for full icon themes. I'm gonna download an icon theme first. And let's see, what do we have here? Windows 10. Ugh, no, don't like it. Why would I do that? Let's see. The Big Sword theme looks interesting. The Tela icon theme. I used to use this icon theme before, and it was nice. Yeah, this doesn't look bad. Let's download this guy. So let's click on files, and I'm gonna get the blue one. Yeah, I'll get the blue one. Click on download, and click on save file. And now we have an icon theme downloaded. So let's go back here, and we're gonna go to GTK3, GTK4 themes. The Ant theme is actually pretty nice, but I prefer a theme called Sweet. Let's see if right here I can find it. I prefer this one, but you can choose whatever you want. So we're gonna click on files, and I'm gonna go with the dark version because I prefer dark themes overall. And let's click on OK. Next, we are gonna look for a cursor theme, and I have a preferred one. I like the material cursor, and wow, it was the first one here. So we're gonna download since I'm gonna be using a dark theme, I prefer to use a light cursor when I use a dark theme, just because it makes sense. So I'm gonna click on download here. You can download all of them if you like, but I'm only gonna download the light one in my case, right? So with that said, what else do we have here? You can also download a wallpaper if you like, but I normally look for my wallpapers on Google or something like that, because I just normally don't choose the ones that appear over here. So let's close that. And the next thing that we're gonna do is we are going to create the necessary folders that we need where we're gonna put these files in. So we're gonna open our file manager, and as you can see, I already have hidden folders enabled. So we're gonna click on new folder, and we're gonna do period themes, and we're gonna click on create. Then we're gonna create another new folder called period icons, right? And these are the two folders where our programs are gonna look for the themes so that they can use them. There are other ways of installing themes as well, but we're gonna go through them as we progress throughout the course. This just happens to be the easiest way. Next, we're gonna go to downloads, and we are going to extract this guy. So we're gonna select them, right click, and extract here. Let's wait until that is done. This little circle over here indicates the progression of this tab. Sorry, of this task. That's the right word. Okay, so now we are gonna move these folders to their right place. So we're gonna open a new tab. We're gonna try clicking home and open a new tab. Right? And in icons, we are gonna place the Tela Blue, which is the icon theme. So we're gonna copy these two guys and paste them over here. Make sure that the folders you're pasting are simple, are like this, right? This is the name of the icon theme, and when you open it, it's just the files inside, right? Instead of copying a parent folder like this that contains two other folders inside, and then inside those two other folders the icon files, because if you do it that way, it's not gonna work. Now we are going to open the material cursors, and since we have all the files that we need already inside this folder, we're gonna just copy the folder and paste it here, right? Next is the theme. So we are gonna go back, and we're gonna go inside themes, and we're gonna let's make sure that yep, it has what we need, and we're gonna copy and paste here. Okay, now we can go back to home and press Ctrl H, yeah, because we don't want to see those hidden files there. They're just annoying, and we can delete all of this because we do not need that. Perfect. We can close this, and we're gonna open an application called twix. TWEAKS. Twix. If you don't have this available, it's because you didn't install it in the previous lab. And if that's the case, you can install that application by opening a terminal. Hold on. Or you can find the app in the software center as well, but it's more fun to do it in the terminal, isn't it? So we can just type sudo apt install gnome twix. Gnome twix. That's the command to install this application if you don't have it, but you should have it. Okay, so let's close this. Now we're gonna go to appearance, and here we're gonna change the application theme from Yaru to Sweet Dark. The cursor, I'm gonna change it to Material Light, and the icon, I'm gonna change it to Tela Blue. And we can close this. Now, I would like to change this wallpaper as well, because I don't quite like that wallpaper. So let's see what we have here. Oh, wow, that's nice. That's all right. I'm gonna keep that. We can close this. And if you open a file manager now, look that you have your new icon themes and your new shell theme, which is pretty nice. At least I like it. Okay, you can play around and install different themes, however you choose. Like, again, we're doing this because we want to get more familiar with the system, you know, so that we can lose that fear of breaking things. Now we're going to play around with this, the dock, right? We're going to move this around. And for that, we're going to right click over here, and we're going to go to, change background, yeah. Okay, and let's click on appearance over here. Oh, let's see if we find a better wallpaper. Nah, not really. Let's click on appearance, and we are gonna switch that. At least I like to have it in the bottom, so we're gonna choose that to button. And let me make the icon size a little smaller. Let me see. Yeah, that's yeah, I like that. And auto hide, if you enable it, will auto hide the dock. I like to have it visible all the time, so I'm just gonna keep it there. And yeah, play with it, you know, whatever you like it. If you like it on the right, if you like it on the left, you know, just play around with it. Okay, now we're gonna install extensions here. There are two extensions that I like. I like an applications menu because I like to have a little menu on the top where I can find apps. And I also like the extension called Caffeine that allows me to keep the computer on at all times without the screen, without locking the screen. Let me move this to the side. Oh, what happened to Firefox? It went away. Okay, so we're gonna click over here and we're gonna go to, whoops, we need to open Twix. So we're gonna open Twix and we're gonna click in extensions, right? Now this should be enabled by default, but if it's not enabled, you need to enable it. Now keep this open on the side over here. Now we're gonna go in Firefox and we're gonna type GNOME extensions. We're gonna click on GNOME shell extensions and we're gonna click here to install browser extension. Continue installation and then click on add. Then click on OK. Now the first thing we're going to install is this applications menu. So we're gonna click on applications menu and click on on. Click on install and notice that over here we're gonna have the extension appear. I guess we gotta reload the app, but it will appear over there. Now we have this option over here to click here and look for applications as we wish. I like this extension because I like to have this menu on top. You know, I don't like to use this a lot because it's slow, at least in a virtual machine. So I'm gonna go back and we're gonna install Caffeine. Let's give this computer coffee. Let's turn it on. Click on install and here you have a little cup of coffee on the top. If you click on it, it's going to disable suspend and your computer is not gonna suspend at all. Okay, now we're gonna close that and we are gonna close that. Next, we are gonna open a file manager and we're gonna take a screenshot of our system, right? We're gonna take a screenshot of all this just to show how our system looks. So I click on take a screenshot and just give it a second. Okay, and now we're gonna take a, this is okay. Yeah, this is okay. And we're gonna save it. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Okay, I'm just gonna take a screenshot of this side over here. This is good enough. And let's save this guy. And this is question 1.2. Q1.2 and make sure that it's located inside lab 3 and let's click on save. Okay, now that we have done this, we're gonna move along and do question number 2. In question number 2, we are going to install GNOME Classic. It's a different desktop environment. It's the old GNOME version. It's slightly faster. Well, not slightly. It's much faster than GNOME 3 because it doesn't have none of the flashy animations that GNOME 3 has. And whenever I use a virtual machine and I'm using Ubuntu, I prefer to use that desktop environment because it's faster and because it's simpler. I'm kind of a sucker for simplicity. So we're gonna click this, copy, and we're gonna open a terminal. You can press Ctrl Alt and letter T on your keyboard for a shortcut, and you can press Ctrl Shift and letter V to paste. And we're gonna press enter. Put in your password, and this is gonna take a little bit. So go get a cup of coffee, or I don't know, whatever you like to drink, and give it like 10 minutes or so. Okay, now that we have installed the software that we need, which is this package over here, GNOME Session Flashback, we need to log out and do exactly what you see in this picture over here. Log out and then log in GNOME Session Flashback. So we're going to close that, and we're going to close this, and we're going to close that. Click on the on button over here and log out. Log out. Now we're gonna type, before you put in your password, click on the gear icon in the bottom and then click on GNOME Flashback Metacity. Now you can put in your password. I'm gonna put my ultra secure password, and you're gonna notice the difference right away. Now let's fix this display problem right away. Display settings, and this go to 200% and click on apply. Keep changes. And we are going to close this. There you go. Now notice that this does look dated, looks old, looks way too simple, but because of that it is also much faster than the system we had before. You don't have to use this if you don't like it. You can go back and use the default GNOME session if you want, but just so you know, I will probably be using this for most of the videos because I just prefer this over the default GNOME 3. Now we're gonna go back to our lab. Go to lab 3. And as right over here. Now we're going to take a screenshot of our Ubuntu system, right? We need to make sure. So we're gonna open one app over here, right? And let's take a screenshot. There you go. And let's click on save. And this is question 2.1. Save. Okay. Now we're gonna go for question 3. And in question 3, we're gonna have a little bit more fun with the terminal. Right, so in question 3, we are going to look for applications. Now, before you do question 3, make sure that you watch the video on how to install software and learn that lesson first, and then come to that question, because most of the commands that I'm going to be using over here, they are very well explained on that video, whereas in this video, we're just gonna use them in the matter to practice. So. What we need to do is we need to fill out this table. But before we do that, it would be a good idea for us to prepare our Markdown file. So let's go to Applications, Programming, and Visual Studio Code. Okay, let's make sure we have that on the left, nice and neat. Let's click on File, Open Folder, and we're gonna open our CIS 106 folder and click on OK. Yes, I trust the authors, and we're gonna click on Labs, lab number 3, and in here we're gonna create a new file called lab3.md, right? And then we have, let's create our font matter, name, oops, sorry about that, name, your name here, and then class, CIS 106 semester spring 22. Okay, let's end the font matter, and now let's start with the title, which is lab 3 using Ubuntu, and then here we put question 1, question, oh sorry about that, question 2, and question 3. Okay, so for question 3, we need to answer this table over here. So I'm just gonna copy the table. I gave it to you there already to save you time, right? And let's make sure we put in a space before and then a space after. I'm only gonna do the first one as an example, then you can do the others on your own. And lastly, we are gonna copy these guys here, 1, 2, 3. So what I'm gonna do is simply put one, which command did you use? If you want, you can simply type the commands in a bulleted list right over here. So we can do commands answers right here, and start to question sub question 1, sub question 2, sub question 3, and then over here in between these backticks you can put the command that you use to answer these particular questions from 1 to 3. Now, play a Tetris game. So I want to play a Tetris game in my computer, right? So I'm going to look for programs that match this criteria. So I'm going to open a terminal, right? So I'm going to click on this button over here, which is going to go back to my, it's going to just show desktop. Control Alt and letter T on your keyboard to open a terminal, like we discussed earlier. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So to search for applications, we use apt search. And this will allow us to search for programs into our computer using the command line. So I'm looking for a Tetris game. So my search criteria will be Tetris. Right? And now let's take a look at the options that we have here. So we have Bastet, N-Curses, Tetris Clone. You know, this seems like a game we can play. Block Attack, puzzle game inspired by Tetris. Blockout 2, a Tetris-like 3D games with 3D effects. Block of the Undead, a Tetris clone with spooky undertones. Ooh, this is interesting. Why don't we take a look at this? Blocks of the Undead, right? So let's install this one. There is one in particular that I like, and it's this one, Quadraplazo. Oh my god, the name of that program. So let's do sudo apt and then install. And we want to install Blocks of the Undead, and I also want to install Quadraplazo because I happen to like that game. So we put our password and we let the computer do its magic. We're gonna wait until that is done. Those two programs are very small, so this shouldn't take long at all. And now, if we go to applications and you go to games, we have two games over here. We have Blocks of the Undead, which is this game over here, which I don't quite understand, but you know, hey, you know. Oh, I see. And there you go. Isn't that like that? Bingo, there you go. Got it. And we have also this guy, which is a really nice Tetris game I like. There you go. So now we can close this and let's go back to our lab. So what is the package name? Well, I'm gonna choose this one, Quadraplazo. This is the answer to my first question. Here, the package name is, and I'm gonna delete this, put a little space there, and then just a little bit spacing to put it nice and neat. What's the version of this program that we installed? Okay, so if you go back to the query that you had before, right, we can actually do apt search and then Quadraplazo. And this over here tells you the version that you are installing over here. Okay, let me fix this table real quick. Oh my god, no. There you go, perfect. And I'm gonna put a little space there. Bingo. And finally, the description. What is it? Oh, it's a Tetris game, isn't it? It's a Tetris game. Done. You know, if you want to be more descriptive, you can simply use the description that you use over here, right? And click on copy and paste. Paste. There you go. Okay, let's save that. And if you do a preview, your table looks beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one as an example, as I just did, and I'm gonna leave you to do the other ones. You use the same idea. You search for a package using a particular search criteria, like apt search video player or video or player, and then you start looking at the packages that you get there, right? And then judging by their description, pick one that does the job, then install it, take a look at the program, and then answer the questions in the table. Just follow my example over here. And then we're going to answer the questions over here. So, install the program that you found using a single command, right? So, I want you to install each and every one of these programs in a single command. In the presentation, you have an example of how to do it. Figure it out and then put the answer over here. Then, how would you remove all those programs, also in a single command? Not removing them one by one, but in one shot. There is an example in the presentation. There is an example in the cheat sheet that I gave you. And finally, if you want to add some programs and remove some programs, also in a single command, how do you do it? Go to the presentation or watch the video to learn how to do it. And then you're going to put the answers over here. The programs that you're going to use are the programs that you find in this table over here. Now let's move along to question number 4. Question number 4 is also very fun. So for question number 4, we're going to try out a couple of more commands. There is one command in particular that I want to introduce to you, and that is the man command. See, most Linux programs come with a manual page, similar to how your refrigerator comes with a manual page, right? And we can read the manual page to learn more about the program. For example, if I type man, which is the command to read the manual page, and then I call quadrappraisal, which is the video game we installed, and press enter, it's gonna load the manual page of that game. And I can move around this page by using the arrow keys on the keyboard. You know, I can get help on how to move around here by pressing the H, or I can press Q to quit. We're gonna learn more about the man page as we progress throughout the course and as we get into more complicated commands, but for now, it's good to know this. I want you to try these commands over here. And let me fix this here real quick from this lab. I don't know why that got in there. Oh, okay. Perfect. Now we got this fixed. So we're gonna try these commands over here, right? These ones is just for practice because we did them during our during the lecture. So the first command is date, and we already know what it does. The next one is free -h, right? And this command tells us information about the RAM, how much we have used, how much we have in total, how much we have free. And next is uname -8, which gives us information about our computer. Finally, we have du for disk utilization, and it tells us how much a particular folder is utilizing of our system. All right, I'm just going to close that over there. Just 1 second, please. Okay, finally, I want you to install these programs over here, right? I want you to install this program. I'm not going to show you the command to install these programs. I'm going to install it off camera and then go back because I want you to practice the programs for installing program, right? So you should know because we did them already and you watched the video. Okay, so now that I installed these programs, I want you to run these commands one by one. Let's run the first one. Right? And it's interesting because it shows us as the output the same thing that we typed over here, but in weird colors, right? In like in an RGB fashion. And look, a different color, and a different color. Now I want to explain something real quick. This is a command, right? This command echo prints text into the screen. It shows text in the screen, whatever you tell it to tell you, right? It's, for those who know a programming language already, like Python, this is the equivalent of print, right? It's just display text in the screen. This over here is a funny command because all it does is it takes whatever text you give it, whatever output of whatever command you give it, and then puts color in it, just colors it. That's all it does, right? This pipe over here takes the output of this command and feeds it to this command, right? So think about it this way. Imagine that this command is giving this command a bottle, and then this command is doing something with that bottle, right? It's like a font, or it's like a game of give me the bottle, of give me the ball, right? Do whatever, do something, and then when you're done doing that thing, give me the result, and I do something else. And you can put as many pipes as you want. When the command in the left finishes executing, the output it's given to the command to the right. We're gonna talk more in detail about piping later on in the course, but I wanted to introduce this early to you. Now let's run the second one. In this one we have laid two pipes, right? So we have one command called fortune, right? We have one command called fortune. When this command runs, it gives the output of whatever it does to cowsay. Cowsay, which is a silly command too, is one of those funny commands, then takes the output and gives the output to lolcat, which we know already is what is making these nice looking colors over here. So what is cowsay doing? And what is fortune doing? Well, if you run the command again, but you eliminate the first part, look what happens. We don't get the fancy colors, but we get the nice little cow, and we still get the letters. Now let's run the command one more time, but let's eliminate another pipe, and let's just run fortune. And you get another message, but look, this message is different, this message is different, and this message is different. Let's run the next command. Oh, cool. What if we fit this to lolcat, for example? Nice. It prints the text in a funny format, I guess, right? That's kind of like what it looks like it's doing. These are funny commands, right? They don't have much use. I want you to practice using them because I want you to, have some fun with your Linux system before we introduce the more serious stuff. Now let's take a look at this command over here. Let's put it in here and let's press enter. See, fortune, and then we feed it to toilet. And it printed a message with a nice beautiful border like this. And now let's do this guy, rig. And rig did something interesting. We have text, and then we have a nice little boy with a billboard. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to use the man page, right? Use the man command like I showed you earlier to figure out what each and every one of these programs do, and then put a brief description over here. For instance, if I do man echo, it says display a line of text, right? That's what the echo command does. Your explanation of what each command does is gonna be over here in the name section, right? Where you have the command and then what the command does. Let's quit from here, just pressing letter Q. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna minimize this. We're gonna go here and we're gonna do question 4, because I believe this is question 4, right? Question 4, yeah. This lab only has 4 questions. Question 4. And let's copy this table over here because this is the only thing we need to submit. And we already have the answer for this one, which is the echo program, right? So we're gonna go back here and we're gonna run the last command again, and we're gonna copy this. I'm gonna do the first one as an example. There you go. Perfect. And let's save it. Once you have completed your lab, remember that for question 1 and for question 2, you have screenshots to put in here. Once you have completed your lab, you're gonna save your file. Make sure that you save it, because if you don't save it, then what are we doing? So save your file and open a terminal. And we're gonna do a git pull. So let me bring this a little bit bigger. There you go. We're gonna do a git pull to make sure that what we have in GitHub, we have in our local computer as well. We wanna have these two things synchronized. And then we're gonna do a git add period, so that we can add the new files that we added. we're gonna do a git commit -m, and then lab3 finish, right? And now we're gonna do a git push so that we can send our changes from our local computer to GitHub. And what are you gonna give me? Oh, I forgot. Let's do right click, export to PDF, and we need to do another git add period, git commit -m added PDF lab3, and then git push, right? If you separate your commands like this, you can run them in a single line. Press enter, okay, because we need to also have our lab3 PDF file on GitHub. And now if you go to GitHub, you have all your files there. We're almost done, we're almost there. And we can close this because we don't need it open. Yeah, at least not anymore. Okay, so as I was saying, we go to our labs, lab3, and what you're gonna give me is this guy over here, lab3.md. The URL to this guy, once you have completed the lab successfully, you give me this URL and you give me this PDF file as well. Not the URL, but the file itself from this PDF file, just like you did for lab number 2. If you have any questions, just reach out to me in Slack. And yeah, that's about it. See you for lab 4.